Definitely got chilli sauce in it.
Yeah.
No, can't see them anywhere. Pretty cool.
Anyone for duck tongue?
Welcome to Kuala Lumpur, or KL, as everyone who's been here more than 5 minutes calls it. And it's our first stop on this leg of our Southeast Asia trip, the Batu Caves. Now, Malaysia doesn't always make it into people's travel lists. Thailand, sure. Vietnam, obviously. But Malaysia, not so much. Which is a massive oversight. So stick around, because over the next few minutes we'll show you exactly why KL deserves a top spot on your itinerary. Starting right here with this absolute showstopper.
Right then, made it on the coach trip. There's a big statue and I think Lisa's a little bit worried.
272 stairs, and we've just confirmed that is more than Covent Garden Tube Station, and I nearly died doing that, so...
Ah, well, we'll be alright. We've got just over an hour before we need to be back on the bus.
The Batu Caves are about 15 kilometres or a 20 to 30 minute drive north of the city. You can grab a taxi, hop in a grab, or do what we did and take a coach tour with a guide. It costs us just £9 each, which is basically the price of a London pint and a half. A grab would have been about half that, but for the extra £4 we got commentary, a local guide and a bonus stop at a batik factory. Not a bad trade. The first thing you'll see when you arrive is the famous staircase. 272 steps of rainbow-coloured optimism that very quickly turns into a thigh-burning regret. Don't be fooled on how cheerful they look. They're steep, like, I should have done some cardio before this holiday steep. At the top, you're rewarded with an incredible cave temple complex. Towering limestone walls, gold statues, and the feeling that you've wandered into a fantasy film set. You'll find 2 temples inside the main cavern, and if you think you're done climbing, think again. There's another short set of steps leading to the back of the cave where it opens up to the sky. Totally worth it though. The natural light pouring through is stunning, and if you're lucky, you'll see the resident monkeys hanging around. We weren't so lucky this time, but don't worry, they'll make plenty of cameos later in our Malaysian travels. We didn't film inside the temples because we were still learning what was respectful, always a good rule of thumb when travelling. What we did learn, shoulders and knees must be covered. Cue our mad dash to the nearby market for emergency sarongs. Also, shoes off before entering, so wear something you can easily slip on and off unless you fancy holding up a queue of worshippers whilst wrestling with your trainers. Once you're done exploring, it's back down the rainbow stairs, which are far less fun when your legs are shaking. Right at the bottom, you'll find the brightly coloured Batu Caves sign, weirdly sponsored by Pepsi, because apparently even sacred sites need a soft drink partner. If you want to see the full Batu Caves experience, including our stop at a batik factory and a few behind-the-scenes travel fails, check out our Kuala Lumpur activities video after this one. But for now, let's head back to the city because KL has a lot more surprises up its sleeve.
Come to test out the, what's it called?
KL Tower.
KL Tower.
Yeah.
So
observation tower.
So it costs about 280 ringgit or so,
which is about £50.
So £50 in total. There's queues for the machines. There's queues to get tickets, but there's little self-service machines just there. Took 2 seconds, well easy, all in English. Definitely go for that approach. But it already looks stunning from here, and we're still at the bottom. I say the bottom. We came up a big hill. We didn't walk it, obviously, but...
And we're not walking that either.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. After climbing those 272 steps at Batu Caves, we decided to give our legs a break and our eyes a treat by heading up the KL Tower. If you want the best view of Kuala Lumpur and not just from it, this is the place. The Petronas Towers might technically be taller, 452 metres versus KL Tower's 421, but because this one's built on a hill, it actually stands higher overall. So you're not just looking out across the city, you're looking down on the famous Twin Towers, which feels oddly satisfying. From the top, you'll get a full 360-degree view of the city, and it's one of those moments where you just realise how massive KL actually is. We went up after a few days of exploring, thinking we'd seen a fair bit, then looked out and realised we'd barely scratched the surface. So yes, there's a lot more coming in this video. The tower itself has some fun quirks. There are these little raised steps that lift you just above the main glass floor. Sounds minor, but somehow being an extra 2 feet higher makes you feel like you've joined the Avengers. If you're feeling brave, there's the skybox, a glass cube that juts right out over the edge, floor and all. It costs just 10 ringgit, or about £1.80 to step inside. Genuinely one of the best value adrenaline rushes you'll ever have. And to top it off, there's a photographer up there who will happily take a full photo shoot for you. On your phone, not just the overpriced prints they'll serve you after. For once, you're actually getting value and vertigo. And speaking of jaw-dropping views, stay tuned, because next up we're heading to a temple that's every bit as colourful as those Batu Caves steps, only this time no climbing required. Next on the list, a temple visit, but first we need to change. Perfect, because as we mentioned earlier, temples here have a dress code. Shoulders and knees covered, shoes off before entering. Luckily, our wardrobe chaos paid off, because right next to our hotel was Sri Maha Mariamman temple. Hopefully I said that right. And it's far too beautiful to skip. Built back in 1873, it's the oldest Hindu temple in Kuala Lumpur, and honestly, it looks like someone gave an artist a blank cheque and said, use every colour you can find. Despite Malaysia being mostly Muslim, the city's a patchwork of faiths, and this temple really showcases that blend. Entry's free, and it's less than £1 to store your shoes whilst you wander barefoot through all the carvings, statues and bursts of colour. The monks and worshippers were incredibly welcoming, and you can either quietly explore or join the prayers if you want to experience it properly. From the calm and colour of the Sri Maha Mariamman temple, it's time to flip the switch and hit one of KL's most iconic landmarks, the Petronas Towers. We decided to enjoy these beauties from the ground. After all, we'd already taken in the city from the KL Tower. Even from here, the towers dominate the skyline, sleek and futuristic, yet surprisingly elegant. Up close, the details really pop. The interlocking steel and glass facades, the sky bridge linking the twins, and the way they shimmer in the sunlight. If you do want to brave the sky bridge, tickets start at 120 ringgit, or about £23, going up to 157 ringgit, or £28 for evening visits. Malaysian citizens get discounted rates, which is a genuinely thoughtful policy. More countries should take note. It's nice to see locals enjoying their own landmarks without paying tourist prices. The surrounding KLCC park is a hidden gem, a little green oasis amid the city's chaos. Walking paths wind past fountains, gardens and mini lakes, and there's even a running track if you're feeling motivated. Families, this place is brilliant. Playgrounds, shallow pools, and open wide spaces where kids can run wild while you take in the towers. And speaking of shows, if you stick around in the evening, the Bellagio fountain style display is an absolute treat. Music, water jets, lights, the works. Paul insisted on comparing it to Vegas, and honestly, it's a fair call. Later in the video, we'll show you a little secret spot to watch it away from the crowds. A total game changer. It's amazing how KL can feel so different in a day. From sacred monuments like Batu Caves to the sweeping views from the KL Tower to the futuristic Petronas Towers and its peaceful park in the middle of it all. It really drives home how diverse the city is and why skipping KL would be a serious travel mistake. Next up, Petaling Street, Kuala Lumpur's Chinatown and one of the liveliest, most colourful streets in the city. Step in and you're immediately hit with a whirlwind of sights, sounds and smells. Stalls are packed shoulder to shoulder with jewellery, clothes, brand name watches of questionable authenticity, souvenirs and random trinkets that you didn't know you needed. The smell of frying oil and spices drifts through the narrow lanes, mixed with the chatter of vendors calling out deals. The energy here is infectious, chaotic, but in a way that makes you want to dive right in. Food is a huge part of the draw. Malaysia's mix of Malay, Indian, Chinese and Thai influences comes to life in every bite. Paul started with a rich, hearty beef noodle dish, noodles soaked in broth that hits every taste bud at once. I grabbed a perfectly spiced chicken skewer, just enough to keep me fueled whilst navigating the crowd and snapping photos. Small snacks are everywhere. Indian rotis for RM5 or about £1, fried rice, and tempting little bites you can try as you walk. The prices are absurdly low, making it easy to sample dozens of things without even thinking about your budget. The street itself is just as interesting. Narrow lanes, crammed with stalls, signs in multiple languages, and the occasional curious vendor checking out your bargaining skills. And just when you think you've tried it all, we stumbled across a stall with Chinese egg cakes. The lady handed us a tiny sample, and I was instantly sold. Light, fluffy, and perfectly sweet, with just the right hint of warmth from the fresh bake. A perfect little ending to our walk down Petaling Street, and something I will keep thinking of in the weeks to come. Just a stone's throw from Petaling Street is Central Market, a completely different vibe, but still full of the energy that makes KL so special. This covered market feels more organised and modern, almost like a mini indoor village. While I treated myself to a little pampering, getting my lashes done for just over RM100 or less than £20, Paul made his way to the food court. He grabbed roast duck for RM15, about £2.70, and settled in to enjoy it solo. Almost immediately, he noticed the duck was served at room temperature. It's deliberate, part of the local style, but it does take a moment to adjust, and the skin isn't as crispy as you might expect. Still, the rice and duck were tasty enough to satisfy, though Paul reckons for the full Malaysian street food experience, the hawker stalls still remain unbeatable. As he wandered the aisles, Paul also noticed little details that make Central Market special. The neat layout of shops, signs in multiple languages, and small art installations tucked between the stalls. It's a relaxed, colourful stop that balances the intensity of Petaling Street, showing another side of Kuala Lumpur where you can shop, snack and soak up local life even if you're doing it solo. Next up, the KLCC Mall Food Court. Yes, a mall food court, but don't roll your eyes just yet. This isn't your average greasy tray setup. It's bright, sprawling, and packed with options from across Asia. You can get Malaysian classics, Indian, Thai, Chinese, even a Subway if you want something familiar. I went for a shawarma wrap at one of the automated stalls, the kind where you can fully customise everything, so no sneaky chilli sauce ruining my day. It was packed with flavour, with buttery sweet corn on the side and some fresh pineapple for dessert. And the best part? The whole meal deal cost RM13, about £3.50. Honestly, it made me realise how rare it is back home to have fruit and vegetables so easily included into a meal deal. Why don't we get this in the UK? It would make healthy choices so much easier. Paul went for a fish curry, and this was a serious bowl of flavour. Packed with cockles, fish balls and all sorts of seafood bits, it was brimming with textures and spices. Not my cup of tea, but he seemed thrilled, happily tucking in and nodding with approval at every bite. And here's the little hidden gem of the food court. If you head to the back, you can watch the water fountains below whilst you eat. Evening light hits the fountains beautifully, giving a mini show, and while you don't get the music, it's one of the best views from any mall food court in the world. Perfect for lingering over your meal and soaking up the atmosphere. KLCC's food court proves that even a mall can be exciting in KL. Delicious, diverse, and with a little secret that makes it feel special. If you want a full review of all the food we've tried so far in the city, there's a dedicated Kuala Lumpur food video on the channel where we dive into every bite. Much to Paul's excitement, it was time to hit the street markets again, this time Jalan Alor. We'd heard some bad reviews before we went. People warned it was busier, the stall owners might be more aggressive, and it might be a bit more expensive, and overall a bit of a tourist trap. Naturally, we had to see it for ourselves. And honestly, it's busy and a bit overwhelming, and the vendors are definitely more persistent than at other markets. But here's the thing, Malaysian people are genuinely some of the friendliest you'll ever meet. You can say no and keep walking, and that's it. No aggression, no chasing you down, just friendly persistence and smiles. As soon as we started walking, Paul spotted a duck offal stand. Gizzards, tongues and other bits. He couldn't resist grabbing a little snack to keep him going whilst we wondered. He happily tucked in whilst I walked ahead, and I have to admit, it was a sight. The smells and the sizzling sounds and the sheer variety of unusual cuts on display made it feel like a true local experience. If you're in Paul's camp, it's a must try for the novelty alone, but for anyone else, maybe just watch and take it in. After that, we headed off to find a proper dinner spot. I went for some sweet and sour chicken, one of my favourite local dishes. It's a little different from what you get back at home, slightly less sweet with a hint of chilli heat, but I was really starting to enjoy the kick. Paul, meanwhile, went for nasi lemak, Malaysia's national dish, and so we viewed it as a must try. This version came with green rice and beautifully fried chicken. He loved it, though the sambal was so strong he struggled to taste much else, including the beef noodles we shared. Jalan Alor is busier and more overwhelming than some of the other night markets we've visited, and yes, it is a bit more expensive. But it's still worth a visit, a true taste of the city's energy and variety. Our tip, go once and soak up the atmosphere, try a few things, and then explore the other markets for better value deals. Our final food spot on the KL tour was at Sungei Wang Plaza. We were just popping in to look for trainers when we discovered a food court upstairs, and I'll admit I was a bit apprehensive. Another generic mall food court, but as soon as we got there, it was clear this was something a bit different. Head up to the 4th floor and you'll find what we like to call a hidden hawker market. It's packed with locals grabbing lunch, not a tourist in sight, and a little maze of stalls offering every Malaysian dish you could ever want. The smells hit you immediately. Fragrant curries, sizzling woks, and sweet pastries wafting through the air. You really feel like you've stumbled onto a secret that most visitors never see. There was even a buffet-style stall, which looked amazing, but honestly a little bit intimidating. From what we could gather, you grab a tray, fill it with whatever you want, and pay at the end. That uncertainty, combined with being shown all of the dishes at once, definitely drives the apprehension. We didn't go for it this time, but for anyone feeling adventurous, it would be the perfect way to sample a lot in one go. Paul went for another seafood curry, a proper punchy bowl loaded with homemade noodles and a mix of seafood that would make any curry lover grin. I opted for the roast duck noodles, and knowing it wasn't going to be piping hot, I could really appreciate the balance of flavours in the noodles and the duck. The combination of tender meat, well-seasoned broth and springy noodles was simple but utterly satisfying. What makes this spot so special is the authenticity. It's bustling, packed with locals, and has a slightly chaotic charm that feels like the real taste of KL life. The constant clatter of woks, chatter in Malay and Mandarin, and the smell of street-style cooking gives it an energy you just don't get in most mall food courts. If you're looking for a truly local experience, this is the place. Cheap, delicious, and still off most tourists' radars. Finally, let's wrap up with our stay here in Kuala Lumpur. How much does a hotel cost here? Well, basically whatever you want. There's something for every budget. We picked the Mauve Hotel for just under £30 a night, and it turned out to be a total bargain. One of the first things you notice is the playful design. There's a slide that takes you down to the cool basement breakout area, perfect if you're travelling with a big group. You can have food or drinks, play some games, or just hang out. If you head up to the rooftop, you're greeted by an amazing pool with views of the Petronas Towers and the city skyline. There's even hanging seats to lounge in, as long as you fit the weight limit, or a quiet workspace nearby if you need to get some editing or calls done. Before we show you our room, a quick pit stop tour to the gym. This is very much a standard hotel gym, but it's perfectly adequate for a quick workout. Both of us managed to get a sweat on, just don't wear a pink top, or like Paul, you'll get lost in the walls. And then there's the room itself. What does £30 a night get you in KL? It's not huge, but it's comfortable. We had twin beds, which were cosy, and there was a great city view. There was a surprisingly spacious, colourfully lit bathroom with a shower that's nowhere near the toilet, which is quite unusual for hotel rooms in Malaysia. Overall, Mov Hotel was fun, practical and surprisingly stylish base for exploring KL. From the slide and the rooftop pool to the comfy room, it really made our stay feel special without breaking the bank. That brings us to the end of our Kuala Lumpur tour. Hopefully we've shown you why this city deserves a spot on your Southeast Asia itinerary and inspired you to explore it yourself. If we've missed anything, drop a comment below and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to join us on the rest of our Southeast Asian adventure.